Parker. Up to 4 minutes, please.
Thank you, Presiding Officer, and I thank Ross Greer for bringing this debate to the Chamber. As he and others will know, it is an issue that not only has massive impact on many parts of my region, some of which get a shout-out in his motion, but it's also an issue that I take great personal interest in as somebody with experience of struggling to find that one secure home to live in and all the trauma and negative impacts that go along with that. So it's personally very difficult for me, as was pointed out, to live with the knowledge that I have a second home at this point. I don't own it, and it is necessary because I represent the Highlands and Islands in our national parliament, which for some reason is not situated in the Highlands and Islands. But as a formerly homeless person, having two places to live is very weird and unsettling, especially as I walk past crisis when I come down here in the morning. I often wish that other people felt half as uncomfortable buying up half of the houses along the Caledonian Canal. As Ross Greer says, there are different kinds of second home requirements, and I know that many of my constituents have a second home in order to do things like work in fragile communities and keep the school or the GP surgery or the dentist or other services running. And I do think there are ways of supporting that kind of living situation while also targeting the more harmful. I suspect most MSPs who represent areas of natural beauty, frequently receive representations from non-constituents who own property within the region, encouraging me to resist policy and legislation that makes it harder for them to maintain their extra homes. And there's a perception, I think, amongst many who do that their ownership is harmless and normal. And it may be becoming normal, but it's certainly not harmless. When properties lie empty, regardless of whether you hire a cleaner to look after it a few days a year, these are properties not housing anyone who lives, works, volunteers or otherwise contributes to the local area. In many rural and island areas, a few homes, a few families, a couple of children can make the difference between sustainability or otherwise of a whole community. I was struck over COVID by the realisation of many people who didn't really notice before how many homes around them didn't contain neighbours, and people who could just about manage before the lockdowns realised suddenly that there wasn't anyone down the road to help pick up shopping, parcels, medication. There was nobody living within the radius that they were allowed to walk around, so the properties around them were empty and they felt really alone. Second homes are voids in a community. That almost every council now charges their owners extra council tax is a step forward in addressing the lack of societal value that they bring, but I think Ross Greer is absolutely right that more can be done. Those purchasing extra homes should be aware of their impact and their responsibility to the community that they want to appreciate. They should be prepared to pay up to allow local services to continue without the staff that might have lived in their holiday home, and for national and local government and other housing providers to build other houses that can be lived in. I believe if someone is not willing to pay extra towards all of these matters, then they have no business purchasing that second home. Ross Greer is right. Everyone should have a home before we start discussing the rights of those to own multiples. It's a house. We're talking about having a safe, secure place to live, an ability to enjoy life and be a productive member of society, a member of a community. Nobody should be sitting without one or leaving their community or passing unskilled work because there's not affordable housing available, while others are fighting for their right not to be taxed on their second or third or fourth. Thank you.